What's up, guys? K Wills here today to do my review for Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 6. Before I begin, I'll let you guys know ahead of time there will be spoilers in this review, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then by all means, leave the video now. But when it comes to season six, first of all, I don't really like it that they kind of called this, all 13 episodes into a season six. This doesn't really feel like a season. This feels like all the leftover episodes that they couldn't fit with season five. And the way that season five ended, that felt like a real good season finale with everything in the last arc with Ahsoka Tano. Because we were introduced to this character from the movie, and then we saw her develop throughout the series, and then her decision to leave the Order was actually, for some people, was shocking, but it was the right decision because people were wondering, oh, what happened to Ahsoka for the rest of at Revenge of the Sith? What happens to her after the Jedi Purge and all this? But this is what happens. She decides to leave. She leaves the Order to go and chooses her own path, which I thought that was an excellent way to end the series. But season six, I mean, there are good story arcs in the season six, but still, I just feel like they could have just named it something else or had a bonus on DVD instead of calling it season six. But it is what it is. I did enjoy a lot of these episodes. I enjoyed the Order 66 arc. That was the one where one of the clone troopers, I think it was the rookie clone Tup. He was near like an explosion and he hit his head and somehow he just decided to kill a Jedi at random, and this caused a panic with Dooku and Palpatine because they knew that they couldn't let Order 66 be revealed to the Jedi. And it was this whole back and forth with Fives trying to help his friend and trying to find out what's the cause of Tup's madness, and that he finds out about the chip that's in every clone trooper's head, and he tries to get the truth out, but unfortunately he doesn't because he gets sick because he gets the chip removed, and it's kind of feel sad. You feel bad for Fives. He was the last member of Domino Squad, and I heard that apparently Echo was supposed to be confirmed to be alive. I'm just like, what's the point of confirming him alive if the Clone Wars series is over? You might as well just have him dead and then have Fives be the last member of Domino Squad, be the last one to die, and it was unfortunate, but because Fives to me was a cool trooper, a cool character. A lot of these clone troopers were, but you was really rooting for him, even though most fans we knew what was going to happen because we knew that the Jedi were going to find out about Order 66. But still, it was an interesting arc, and I liked it. Another one of my favorites was the one with Master Yoda. Yoda, of course, be contacted by Qui-Gon, and he learned that he had to preserve his consciousness within the Force, so that way when he dies, he could become the Force Ghost, because he would have important duties after his death. And we saw him traveling, training, and it was cool to see the Yoda training because this is a guy who's like over 900 years old. He has the most experience than any other Jedi, and he's considered to be the master, the Grand Master of Jedi. And I really like that we got to see him training. Going back to his roots, and uh, also what was cool to see was that he actually traveled to Morban. If most people who play like the Star Wars PC games, they know it as Korman, which is the ancient homeworld of the Sith. And from that world, we got to see the spirit of Darth Bane, a legendary Sith Lord who created the Rule of Two. And I didn't even know this, that he was actually voiced by Mark Hamill. I did not notice at all because I knew that they wanted to get him into the series somehow, but I just didn't hear because I know he does good with Joker, impressions. He does villains, voiceovers, and I didn't know that was him, and I was surprised that actually it was his voice, and it was cool to see him, just an old ancient Sith Lord, and yeah, and the arc itself it was just interesting, the graphics with all the different worlds, it really they always did a good job when it came to the art design and the design of this different planets and stuff like that. And I like the end of this arc more than anything else because Yoda, at the end of his journey after his training, he talks to Windu and Kenobi, and he tells them, "Hey, listen, we're gonna lose this war. We're not gonna find victory in the Clone Wars, and that we already lost, and that the Jedi are going to fall." But he states that we are going to rise again, and he basically is hinting the fact that Luke Skywalker is going to be the one to defeat the Sith and restore the Jedi Order. because Yoda knows, we're gonna lose this battle, but we're not done. We have an ace in the hole, which is Luke. But he does, of course, say Luke's name. But I thought that was pretty interesting for Yoda to actually say that and to know, because when he was on Dagobah, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He saw visions of the Jedi being killed by the clones and other visions as well, and this is the way he came to conclusion to that they're gonna fall, but they're gonna rise again in the future. So I thought that was an interesting way to end off that arc. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole arc itself. And my least favorite arc I would have to say is what was it? Oh, the one with Jar Jar Binks. I didn't really care for the story at all. I did like that we get to see Mace Windu's mother Townsend, but other than that, the story didn't really interest me at all. I like the political arc with Clovis, and also before I begin with Clovis, in this, with this season, we got to see a lot of interaction between Count Dooku and Palpatine. Really got to see a little bit of what their relationship was like and how, if Palpatine says something to Dooku, Dooku has to do it. And that's the thing when you're an apprentice to a Dark Lord of the Sith, you have to be obedient 100%. You cannot, you know, judge your master. You can't say, oh, question him. You have to believe him or her. You have to do what they say. You have to be the obedient servant, and we see that with Dooku. He takes his role seriously, and I also it was interesting that there was a lot of back and forth with Palpatine. We saw him as the Supreme Chancellor, then he goes back to be Darth Sidious. A lot of back and forth, a lot of manipulating, and that's one of the things I like about Sidious. Even how the manipulation with the Clovis arc. How he manipulated Clovis step by step using Embo, using those have that corrupted member of the Council of the Banks. Everything that he's done was a step by step process just to use Clovis because Clovis was a good guy. But Dooku offered him assistance to getting control of the banks and being able to manage them. And when he did that, he was Dooku's pawn automatically. And in the end, Clovis was looked upon as a villain. And in the end, Palpatine gained control of the banks. And this is what we see throughout the series. Little by little, Palpatine gains more power than he should have as a chancellor. And, it makes sense because it's a time of war. You need one strong leader. And, in war, you can get away with these things, with getting more power, getting more, responsibility. So that way, soon he won't need the Senate, that he can make any ruling or judgments without anyone's second questioning him. And, I also thought this was pretty interesting when it came to the Sideous arc. Again, I will have to say that this season there was a lot of mystery. The theme of mystery was strong in this season. A lot of Jedi going back and forth, discovering clues. The Sideous arc, they're trying to find out what happened to him and then why he created the clone army. And the whole revelation came when Dooku killed one of the another guy who was with Sideous and Dooku, and then it caused the whole, the pre-battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan versus Dooku. It was interesting how everything just came together. It was the theme of mystery was really strong in a lot of these episodes, and I thought that was interesting. It was not it was good some good action scenes here and there from the season, but mostly it was just like suspense and mystery and some drama, and I like that from the Clone Wars, something different. And what else? Yeah, I covered pretty much all of the arcs, and overall, I like this season. This season wasn't that bad. I still wish they would have called this a season 6, but it was a pretty good season for what it was. I enjoyed most of the episodes. And now we move on from Clone Wars. Clone Wars is done, people. Now we move to Star Wars Rebels. And Star Wars Rebels. I might do a first impressions, but I don't think I'm going to review it or probably watch it as much. It doesn't really, I'm not really excited for that series. I don't know. It's nothing bad about it. I know I was supposed to get like a full trailer in like a few days, but I don't know. I'm just not really feeling Star Wars Rebels. But overall, the Clone Wars as a series, I did like it. It was good, especially when from seasons 3 and on. Those were some really good episodes and story arcs. I did enjoy a lot of the characters. Giving the clones more identity I think it was an interesting way. And a lot of fans like the Clone Troopers. People like Fives. People like Echo, Commander Wolf, and many others, and Captain Rex as well. So let me know what you thought about season 6. What you liked about it, what you disliked about it, some disappointments. I mean, I know one disappointment I think a lot of people would say is that we don't know what happened with Darth Maul, but I do believe we're going to get a comic book where it states what happens after his battle with him on Mandalore, when unfortunately his brother Savage had died as well. So maybe I'll check that out. But anyways, I'm done. Thanks for listening on to this video. Leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Have a good day.